Rogue Sun, issue number 16 from Image Comics. Yeah, feels like it's been a while since we've been with Rogue Sun. So, super quick recap. Caleb took over Dylan's body. Dylan is in some kind of weird ghost universe with the other Rogue Sons from the past. He meets his grandfather, who in the last issue betrayed him. Meanwhile, Caleb has gone to Dottie, I guess is her name. She's the therapist, the warden, who has the house that has all the gems and jewels where the Rogue Gallery is hidden, like they're imprisoned in. So Caleb goes there and he destroys it, freeing all the villains. And that's where this one starts. It starts with two villains getting ready to fight each other. When Rogue Sun stops them and pretty much says, hey, I have a new perspective for you guys. Like, I have a goal, and I want you guys to join. If you don't, you can just leave. And so everyone pretty much starts leaving, except for one guy whose name is Reverend Death. Caleb tells him, like, you I need, so you're going to stay and help me. And, of course, Reverend Death's like, why the hell would I help you since you're the one that, like, locked me in prison? Not necessarily Caleb, but the Rogue Sun in general. And Caleb reveals that your benefactor gave me his blessing, his mark, which means that you have to listen to me. Meanwhile, I'm just going to call it the Sunstone. So the Sunstone universe, it's where the ghosts of all the previous Rogue Sons go when they die. Anyways, Marcus is there, and he's yelling at his dad for betraying, the family. Like, he's your grandson. How the hell can you betray him? And then the grandfather knocks him out. Meanwhile, Dottie is talking to Juliet and her two kids and says that Dylan freed everybody. And that's when the sister reveals that, like, unless it wasn't Caleb, I think it was Caleb. I think he was the one controlling Dylan this entire time. And everyone finally believes her at this point. It's one of those things where it's like she had an idea that something was off with him. She tells people and then no one believes her. I always hated that trope. That trope was just so freaking annoying. Especially when there's so many clues to point out that there's something wrong with this guy. She even straight up says, like, I mean, he's pulling like a 180 in his act. We've seen how he is. Now all of a sudden he's like super nice to everybody and super forgiving and stuff. He's drinking. He's like, something's off about this dude. But no one believes her. But now they do. And Dottie reveals that I have a plan that will help us fight against Caleb and the monsters that he freed. And then I'm going to be skipping a bunch of stuff because it doesn't matter. Back in the Sunstone, Owen frees Dylan. Owen is the grandfather. He basically shows up and he shoots the Rogue Sun that's guarding Dylan and frees him and tells him that, like, I never backstabbed you. Basically, we were outnumbered and outgunned. So pretending to give you up was the only way to keep us safe. And of course, Dylan doesn't believe him until Owen tells his story about how when Marcus was born, he cried. And the reason why he cried was because it was the greatest day of his life and because he knew it wouldn't last. Because the person that he originally was going to pass the Sunstone to, they ended up dying. So that meant that he had to start all over with Marcus. And so because of that, he hid away all of his love. He couldn't show Marcus any love because, I don't know, I guess he had to make him stronger or something. It's stupid. It's a stupid excuse. But that's his excuse. Like, I had to basically hide my love for him. And I hated myself for doing that, so I turned to drinking. And then when I saw his mother being kind to him, I stopped her as well. And I'm just kind of like, that's not how you make a hero. You don't make a good hero by just hiding away everything positive, like every positive emotion away from them. That's how you make a serial killer. Like, I mean, look at Superman. Superman's like the greatest hero ever, and he grew up with a loving family. And like a lot of people who grow up with love and stuff try to give that back to society. And usually, they'll become like police officers or doctors or whatever. But when you don't, when all you do is beat your kid up, drink and be a drunk around them all the time, force the mom to also not show any love, that's how you get serial killers. So, yeah, Owen's just an idiot. But that's his excuse for why he was such a dick. Meanwhile, Caleb is going to break into this mansion. It's Juliet's mansion, and he's going to break in with some of the villains to help him. And that's when Dottie shows up with Rogue Sun powers. It's not really explained how she has them, but she has them. And three other individuals show up, and they're all like demons. And I'm pretty much just assuming that this is Juliet and her two kids. And that the plan that Dottie had was, hey, you put this stuff on, and it'll give you demonic powers, and then you will have the strength to be able to fight against these other demons. So yeah, Dottie turns Juliet and her family into demons so that they can fight other demons. This entire time, I'm also just kind of wondering, where the hell is Dylan's mom? Because Dylan's mom was in the Stone prison as well, along with these other villains. She's never shown up. Like, Caleb frees all the demons that are imprisoned. Like, every single one. She's not there, though. I'm kind of wondering, like, is she gonna make an appearance? You would think she would. Like, here's this dude who stole your son's body. Are you gonna help him, or are you gonna fight him? Are you gonna try to get your son's body back? So, I don't know. That was something I was kind of, like, wondering where that was. I'm assuming she's probably gonna, like, appear in the next issue or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's more. I don't want to like spoil everything. I will say that this was actually not bad. I think some of the family dramatics is just it comes across as very terrible, like CW writing. It's like, oh, we gotta be dramatic for the sake of drama. Nothing really makes sense. And then the constant like backstabbing, but no, we're not really backstabbing. But then we're backstabbing, but oh nope, that was just a fake backstab. It's like, okay, I'm just kind of like, I'm done with that. Also, like Marcus, that whole shtick is kind of like, so what? Owen mistreated his son because he wanted his son to be stronger. So he thought his son would be stronger if he never showed him any positive emotions and just was negative towards him all the time. And that made Marcus resent his father to the point where he absolutely despised him. And then he decided to do the same thing to his son. You would think like, hey, I hated when my dad did this to me, so I'm going to go out of my way to make sure I don't do that to my son. But he did it anyways. So I don't know. Also, just, I don't care for the Marcus character, and this series seems like it's trying to make him sympathetic. But it's one of those things where it's too late. So there's this thing, it's called Saving the Cat. So it's where you want to show your main character, or like if there's a character that you want the fans to get behind, you want to introduce them in a positive light at first. And it's called Save the Cat because, like, you know, maybe you have your hero saving a cat or something. It doesn't have to necessarily be that, but you want to introduce your character in a good light because first impressions are a thing, despite everyone telling you that, you know, oh, you know, don't worry about first impressions. First impressions are a thing, especially when it comes to writing. How you introduce your character can really help set how the audience is going to react to them. You introduce your character graping someone, then most people aren't going to be behind that character no matter how many good deeds they do. You show your character helping someone out of a situation, then you can show them having a bunch of negative traits, and usually people are willing to kind of forgive or think like, maybe they're doing it for a reason. Marcus was introduced in a negative light, and he's been introduced in a negative light for so long. We're 16 issues in, and now he's finally like showing some positive traits. You're kind of already too late. Same thing with Dylan. That's been my biggest thing with Dylan. Dylan hasn't been as negative as Marcus, but Dylan was not introduced in a good way. He was introduced as a pretty crappy character, and he's been crappy for so long that it's kind of hard to root for him. If anybody that I'm rooting for in this series, it'd probably be Juliet. I guess I was going to say stepmom, but would she be considered Dylan's stepmom? She's the lady that Marcus married. She's like the most, I guess, positive person in this. Like, she doesn't really have a negative bone in her body. She takes Dylan in and tries to be a positive role model to him. She tries to help him out, and she tries to train him, but she also tries to like support him and stuff. She has a lot of good characteristics. She hasn't really done anything negative so far. Everyone else, though, has not really been introduced in a pretty good light at all. And so, yeah, a lot of times it's kind of hard to root for some of these characters. So Marcus, for example, when Marcus gets betrayed by his dad and stuff, I don't really care. The grandfather, it's like, okay, maybe he could have been positive, but then you immediately, like within that same issue, you had him betray his family. It was a psych out, but still, it's just, you have all these characters that are just, it's really hard to root for anybody. That's like my biggest problem with Rogue's Son at the moment, is that there's just a lot of unlikable characters. Hopefully that will change. But I mean, in regards to this issue itself, it was fine. I didn't hate it. This is like one of the more positive issues that come out from this series. Hopefully we just continue. Like if we just even continue to just get series like this, like I'll give this like a 6 out of 10. It's not great. It's just good. Actually, I don't even know if I want to say 6 out of 10. Maybe a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 is it's average to good. And if we just keep getting issues like this, then that can really turn this series around, because this series has been, it's been pretty terrible for the most part, minus a few issues here and there. But this was a more positive one. So I'm glad for that. The cover is kind of a lie. The cover makes it seem like Rogue Son's going to fight a bunch of zombies. We do get some zombies in here, but no actual fights with the zombies. It's more like they get raised and then we don't see them again. So that was kind of lame. But yeah, this is a step in the right direction. A lot better than what Dead Lucky has been doing. So Rogue Son is no longer the worst series in the Massiverse. Though to be honest, Dead Lucky was the worst series in the Massiverse since it came out. But Rogue Son's not even the second worst. I'll probably give that to Radiant Pink and then Radiant Red. And then I would probably say Rogue Son. So hey, you know, at least it's a step in the right direction. There you go. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But there's Rogue Son, issue number 16. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.